Well, welcome back to the Coach's Show. Brian Stanley with you. With me is David Schuster, the head coach of your Mission Prep Royals. And coach, we got a big win this last week over Kern Valley. The Bronx came to town, and you put a 58-0 win on the board at Mustang Memorial Field over the Bronx. Talk about how it feels to get that big win on your home opener.
Yeah, no, it was a great night on Friday. Really, really pleased with a lot of things that took place. We focused pretty heavily coming out of San Diego on a lot of our execution, our offensive execution, and then really our conditioning. We thought we were in shape. We showed up in San Diego, became pretty clear we weren't in shape, and so I can tell you the boys have been doing a lot of running and training their minds and their body to be a little bit tougher. And so I was really pleased with kind of what the outcome of those 2 weeks looked like. They were motivated, they were fired up, they're doing a lot of good things, a lot better execution on the offensive side. Still a lot of things that we need to improve in. Some decisions, some decision making from the QB, some blocking up front, some blocking on the perimeter that we'd like to see improve. But overall, it was a significant jump in every area. So I was very pleased with that.
And we want to talk about the player of the game. Um, Announced in the post-game show on the PSNtv. It was Thomas Glenn, your quarterback. He had 5 touchdowns in the contest, 4 different receivers, passing touchdowns, and then took one in on the ground. Talk about his performance leading the team in this win and how he was able to guide this offense through the first half.
Yeah, I thought the two biggest areas of improvement by far, I'd say, were the offensive line and then Thomas Glenn at quarterback. I think some of the changes we made really allowing Thomas to have better processing. It's a very hard job to be a quarterback, and there's a lot that there's a lot to be in charge of. There's a lot you got to manage, um, and Thomas is growing in all those areas, and so it was really cool to see that kind of take place. Some of the things that we did on offense, we really kind of built Thomas's strengths. He's a phenomenal athlete, and we want to take advantage of those things. So I was really happy. He distributed the ball very well, all over the place. It was correctly distributed to the right kid and to multiple kids all over the field, and it makes our offense diverse. It makes it very hard to defend. We've had years in the past where everybody kind of knew it was, the ball's going to Jack Susank or the ball's going to Drew Harrigan or we're going to throw it to JJ or we're going to throw it to Asani. Um,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what's really so unique and so much fun about this group is we got a lot of kids that are really, really good and all deserve the ball. Um, and Thomas is making smart decisions, getting it to the right players at the right time. So um, though that didn't happen on San Diego. That's my fault. I didn't prepare him as efficiently as he needed to be prepared. And then up front on the offensive line, we kind of rearranged some things. I want to shout out Joe Silvera. I thought, we moved, he's a sophomore, and we moved him to guard. Um, and he's kind of another one in the same line, kind of the same mindset, the same physicality, the same, similar size too, to, like Mario and David Loera. Um, Kind of one of those, like, he's just a warrior, does what the team needs, and he does it at a high level, and he's doing it as a sophomore, similar to the Lueras, or sophomore year they were starting and taking over games the same way. So we moved him to guard, and he automatically upgraded the line, and so just really proud of him and his work and his effort. And I know no one really knows it. No one was going to really give him a shout out, and he made a significant difference for sure. So we're very proud of him. And then the rest of that line, Sean Revis, Armin Clayton, Gabe Amata, Jaron Miles, they really did a great job. So I was very proud of that.
And then staying with the offensive side of the ball, Ronnie Kardashian's been running the ball all season long for you real well. But let's talk about your sophomore running back that got the starting role with the Rock against Kern Valley, Miles Thompson, and his performance against Kern Valley. Quite a bit of runs, multiple first downs picked up by Thompson. Just an overall great performance by the sophomore.
Yeah, I was, if we wanted to, we could have ran the ball all night and had like 500 yards rushing. And that's no shot at Kern Valley. It was just um, you know, we thought it was going to be uh, the matchup. I thought was we as soon as we got onto the field, I realized that matchup was a little more extreme than I thought it was. Um, and so it was a great opportunity for us to get a lot of work in a lot of areas. And so Miles had limited carries, and he looked really good in the carries that he got. And same for Ronnie. Um, kind of we have a more or less we really have like a four-headed monster at running back with Miles and Champ and Carter and Ronnie and the things that those four can really do. They're great athletes. They're all incredibly strong kids. Every single one of them is over 1,000 pound club. Just powerful athletes that can command the defense, command defensive attention on them, and they're all versatile athletes. Like it's not just hey they only run the football. They can all catch. They can all move well in space, and they complement each other really well. And so Miles, though, to your point, is very special. He's got great eyes. He sees plays forming up, and he's rarely wrong. Um, so really, really, really excited about where he's at. He reminds me of kind of Kowal and Drew Harrigan both had the same trait a little bit where they were very patient runners and it opened up things for them as plays continued to go. And so whereas more like Dalton Strauss, is kind of more in line with like Ronnie Kardashian. Those two, and obviously they're related, but also like they run the same way. They're just, they're kind of and Jack Susank a little bit too, where it's like they're just, they're coming with bad intentions and there's not a whole lot of reading going on and it works too because it's like hey, that defense has no chance to react to anything coming right at them. And so um just I feel like they all complement each other real well, and Miles looks like a young man that uh, he's going to be really special here as the year progresses.
And let's move to the defensive side of the ball, holding the Bronx to a total of 79 yards of offense, -6 yards rushing. Your defense was led by Gabe Amata, who Steven and I argued in the booth could have been player of the game. I was arguing for Thomas Glenn. He was arguing for a defensive player because he likes linemen. So he wanted Gabe Amata, who in his own right had plenty of qualifications to earn the title in that contest. Talk about Gabe's performance in leading that defense to such a great performance, holding the offense to 79 yards of total yardage.
Yeah, Gabe, the Gabe Amata that we're seeing this year, I am really proud of. He wasn't bad last year. He was doing a lot of good things, but I think he was still getting used to the idea of a lot of our linemen end up having to go both ways. It's just kind of been a reality for us at Mission since I've been here. And that sometimes kind of wears on them. Um, and so Gabe, I think Gabe's mental toughness last year was it was mostly there, but then there were times when he needed to step up a little bit and it didn't happen. And I'm only saying that because the Gabe Amata we've seen this year is the leader, is the man, is the warrior that we've been waiting for a long time, and he is doing some special things on the field, man. Um, Completely took over the game on both sides of the ball, making all the right calls, helping Joe Silvera at guard, um, and just showing amazing leadership, great physical toughness, and did it all night. And he walked off the field and he had this look on his face of like, man, he could have done it for three more quarters. Like he was just in that type of shape and in that kind of mindset of like, hey, this is what it is, and it's go time. And I think what's been so cool is he's not the only one. Like Armin Clayton mimics that mindset. Sean Rivas, drives that mindset too. And it's like those guys up front are just dictating a lot of great success. And Gabe had an immediate impact because anything coming on his side, he immediately shut down. He was an absolute force in the pass game, creating tremendous pressure, and he set a great example for the rest of his seniors, and then for all the underclassmen too. And I will say that senior year and how that senior year goes um, dictates a lot of the success of the freshman class. And we've been talking to the seniors about this for a while now about how their senior class was the 2021 team. That was Jack Susink and Taco and you know uh, Jaden Broyles and Grant Callahan and all these kids that this monster team that we had, and that was the freshman class introduction to MCP football, was this monster senior team. And so whatever the success is of this current senior class, that 2021 class gets some credit for it. And so for Gabe Amata then to set the example the way he has for this freshman class in 4 years, whatever this freshman class does, Gabe Amata and the rest of these seniors get some partial credit for it too. And so just very proud of what he's distributing and displaying and the way he's leading in the locker room too. So I got great admiration for him and very proud of him.
And with the score being what it was, Coach, you were able to get your reserves into the game and get them some playing time. Anybody that you want to comment on that got into the game as a reserve that performed well?
Yeah, I want to quickly shout out that I'm very proud of Lincoln Bloom. I think Lincoln Bloom has really just he has really come into his own, starting to be a dominant force on the D line, and his kickoffs are fantastic. And I know PAT is still a work in progress, and that's okay. It usually is for us at this time of year, so that's nothing new. Um, we scored a lot, so everybody saw it a lot. But I mean, shoot, last year the first 3 games, everyone keeps forgetting at Bishop Diego. We had to go for two every single time. Cash wasn't ready to kick PATs. Same thing with Bakersfield Christian, and so it's kind of how it goes sometimes. It just PAT is a timing thing, and it takes a while for kids to get that figured out. And so very very proud of Lincoln. I think he's really doing great things, and thankful for his presence on the team. Um, Brennan Augustine, really, I thought everyone kind of got to see what we've been seeing now for the last year and a half. He was a great athlete on JV. He's never really played football before until his freshman year, and now this is sophomore year, and I think everyone's kind of starting to see like, oh, this kid has something to him. And then Joe Villa, really proud of Joe Villa. Really think very highly of him, and really excited that we got a chance to get him involved. Been wanting to get him involved for a while, and so there was a lot of opportunities there, and he's a great athlete, and so I think the opportunities to keep getting him involved are going to be there, and so it was fun to let him kind of display his talents to the world. And then lastly, I'll just say Vinny Orlando. Vinny, Vinny's in a. I want to quickly just shout this out. Um, Vinny battled for the quarterback job last year, and he didn't get it. And it's tough. That's a very, very tough thing to have to go through in high school. It ends up being somewhat public because it's the quarterback. And, Drew Souza wins the job. Vinny Orlando doesn't win it. We end up going with Thomas Glenn. And you could just, and Vinny handled it very well. I'm so proud of Vinny. But you could tell, man, like that definitely hurts a kid. A kid, there's a sense of like, well, am I not good enough? And it was like, it had multiple talks where it was like, Vinny, you are a phenomenal young man doing great things. And his embracing of a slight change in his role in the program. It happens on every team. It happens to a lot of kids. It happened to me in high school. I'm so proud of Vinny and his resiliency. And and he is a great athlete. He is a great football player. I think he can do a lot of things. He's very talented, and um, he's really become one of the best receivers in our program. He's a great blocking player. He's a phenomenal receiver of the ball. He's excellent at running his routes. He's a very tough kid, and then just his ability to hop right back into quarterback, and he didn't miss a beat, man. He came out. He looked good. He was delivering the ball accurately.
Yes.
He had full command of the offense, and I just I've got so much admiration for that young man, and I want to publicly shout out how proud I am of him. How a lot of kids would not have handled that situation nearly as well as he has, and I wish more kids were like Vinny Orlando, and so just very proud of him.
Coach, just I'm going to add my 2 cents here. The idea of changing positions and losing one position and moving to another one, that happens at the college level too. So to show that adversity and the maturity at the high school level, that is a recruitment positive for a coach at the college level because he may move Vinny or another athlete around from a quarterback to a D back to a receiver. They move players around all the time, and you have to be
Hmm.
versatile. And
Hmm.
his versatility is key if he's trying to get to the next level, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right. It happens all the time. A lot of our kids have gone on to the next level and been asked to change positions, and so um, I remain deeply proud and deeply impressed with Vinny. And
Yeah.
I was very happy he got it. We were able to get him a touchdown, and I was really happy with the way he played. I thought he did great, and then him stepping into that role in the second half, and he will continue to kind of play that role for us as well. I'm just think the world of him, very proud of him, and you know, not sure how much people know his story or understand the other side of the story, and so I wanted to kind of publicly shout out just how tough he is and how proud I am of everything he is. So.
Shout out to Vinny Orlando. Let's move on, coach, to this week's opponent. We hit the road for the second time this season, traveling to San Ynez to face the Pirates, coached by head coach Josh McClurg. We've faced the Pirates before. Uh, they are a tough opponent. Uh, Both Stephen Hodges and I have Josh McClurg in our top five of Central Coast coaches. We're not going to say where in the top five, but he is in our top five because he is a solid coach. You are in our top five too, coach. Don't worry. You are definitely in our top five. You are our number one coach for sure. And all the other coaches can envy that. But coach, let's talk about this matchup this Friday, 7 p.m. on PSNtv and what the Pirates bring to the table as a foe to the Royals.
Yeah, I'll shout out Josh McClurg as well. I admire him a lot. He and I get along real well, and over the years, he and I have become we're like-minded. We're both a little intense, um, and we kind of dig, I think, the way each other operates and does things. He's a defensive-minded coach like I am as well, and so every year he and I will kind of link up and talk defense for a while and just kind of have a lot of fun together. So, um, we threw at them in the summer. It was extremely competitive, a lot of good competitive energy there. So I think our kids respect everything that they do, and I think they also enjoy the competitive interactions with them too. And I know I certainly do as well. And so, we really um, last year we played them. That game kind of got out of control late. And I've chalked that up too, especially when you look at that team and what San Ynez was doing last year. They were very, very young. And so we kind of caught them early in the year when they're still young and figuring things out. And got a couple plays on them and it got out of control a little bit. What I think is what usually happens with us in San Diego when we throw with each other, when we're competing with each other, and I think is more in line with what that 2022 team was more like, where it came down to the last play. It was, very, very back and forth. They do some things on offense that give us significant challenges. Um, and we know that, and we're trying to game plan for it, but they're very good at some of the stuff that they do. And then we do some things as well that I know gives them challenges as well. And so it ends up with a situation where you've got a team that is basically a bunch of little Josh McClurgs. They're all psycho just like him. They're nuts. I love it. And that energy is fantastic. And then you got kind of, bunch of little Marines walking around too on our side too. So you end up with this, this hyper energy on the field that I hope we play Sandy Inez for the next 10 years because I enjoy it, whatever the results are. I just enjoy competing against what they do and how they are. And um, there's just a lot of fun that takes place there. And I think our kids enjoy that interaction with them as well. So it's a positive deal. And I certainly anticipate it's going to be a lot of fun on Friday.
Coach, how do you feel going on your second road trip? Is there still any lingering skeletons in the closet of going down and facing Santa Fe Christian and losing the home opener on the road, or is that behind the team at this point?
To be honest, there's one, I guess we'll find out. But two, the team that we took down to San Diego and the 2 weeks that we've had since, um, the reality for us is that with that Kairos week, it's we don't typically get the season doesn't really usually start for us until right after Kairos because there's this huge gap and everything is so compressed going into that week one game. And so, we played Brentwood and won, we played Bakersfield Christian and lost, we played Santa Fe Christian and lost. Like it's the same thing every year. Whether we win or lose, you don't really feel like the season started or the team's really connected. Not connect or like really moving the way you want until after we get back from Kairos. And so um uh to answer your question, I don't think the team we took down to San Diego and the team that we have now are the same team.
Okay.
And so and I also want to shout out Santa Fe Christian. Like they had a great game plan. They are really good. They had two defensive ends. One of them was 6'4", the other one was 6'5". We put some kids in personnel positions in that game that were kind of dumb decisions looking back on it. Good in theory, good on the chalkboard, and it looked good against Emmanuel. And then we line up against Santa Fe Christian. You're going like, boy, this, we are outmatched in a couple of positions. And so then it was like, as we're reevaluating everything, it's like, well, there's another kid that's actually probably better suited in that spot, and this kid should probably be over here. And there was a lot of that was taking place. And then, I did not do a good job of preparing Thomas Glenn. And he was, uh, he was trying to make the best of a very tough situation. He had pressure all game, had no time to read anything. And I thought our defense was okay, wasn't great. And then we were without a couple of coaches, and so it ended up by the time we get to the end of the third quarter, yeah, it just was, there was just a lot going on that I don't think is going to be going on the rest of the way. So
Well, Coach, let's take it
should be
home.
good.
This Friday, 7 p.m. kickoff on PSNtv on our YouTube channel. Just search Prep Sports Networks on YouTube. That's how you can find us. And if you're watching this, you're probably already on YouTube. So hit that like, subscribe button, all that good stuff. And you'll get all those updates for when we go live on Friday. Steve and I will be in San Ynez with our pregame show at 6:45. Coach, any final words?
No, excited to compete, excited to get after it. Like I said, we enjoy competing against Sandy Inez and should be a good game.
It will be a good game. Join us Friday, 7 p.m. kickoff on PSN TV. Mission Prep Royals at the San Ynez Pirates.